I'm working on a line here, and I was working from left to right along here, so that's where I'm going to begin. And if I go nice and carefully, I don't get into too many problems. So there's my loop start. Now, I don't know if that happens to you, but sometimes when I'm pulling the thread out of the back, it comes out of the needle. And it's not because my hole is too big. Such vibrant colours, it really is. It's quite impressive. I mean, this should cheer anybody up working this pattern. If you're feeling a little bit low, this one would boost you, I think. A colour boost. I have heard something about colour therapy, so that might have something to do with it. There's quite a lot written about choosing colours to look at, even just to kind of change how you feel or your mood or anything, something like that. Again, when you've got a lot of parked threads, it's tricky. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Gonna park that here. I don't want to make a mistake parking my threads on this one, because the fact that there's so many of them, that would just be awkward. So I haven't actually even done 2% of this pattern yet. There's also a lot of beautiful colours to wind up, to bobbinate. There's just not a lot of blocks of colour. They're all very varied. So I think, you know, personally for me, this is the easiest way for me to tackle all those ninja stitches, is by actually going row by row. Even though it takes longer, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off between taking a bit longer, not having those ninja stitches dotted around the place, which they did actually used to drive me a little bit crazy, because I'd complete a whole area and then I'd have to go back and work all the stitches I'd missed. And you know, half the time I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to do a session of stitching and say, that's it, I've done that section or that part. But having to go back and go over all those empty stitches, for me, was a bit stressful. And then again, there's plenty of people who don't have a problem with it. So really, it's all just about your personal taste. Same way people knit differently. I do sort of traditional knitting. I can't do the continental style of knitting that people do. I've tried it so many times because it's actually quicker than traditional knitting, but I just can't seem to get to grips with it, no matter how many times I've tried. So that's just that just says to you, do what you're comfortable with. I think if you've taken more care of something and you've put more effort into it, it's going to have more meaning for you. That goes without saying. There really are so many colours. Actually, there is 89 colours in this chart, I believe. So it's not like any more than you'd get in a normal size chart or a mini chart. But the thing with it is that it just seems like there's more because of the fact that you're doing all the confetti. Where am I going? Left or right? Sometimes I do forget whether I'm going right or left or right. It's more apparent when you've got a longer row, but when you're doing a shorter row, you can forget which direction you're going. I don't know why these holes feel smaller than the other 25 count. And if I haven't mentioned before, this is actually a very light blue, which just appealed to me as something different. Because I know it doesn't make a huge amount of difference what colour the fabric is, you're going to cover it anyway. I just fancied a subtle change. So bit by bit we'll get there in the end. I think this is one of those kind of patterns that you have to appreciate every little kind of revelation of these little parts. I don't think I've ever seen quite as many orange colours as I have seen winding up these threads. So I'm going to do a little waist knot behind here, which I tend to cut off fairly soon as well. That's that one. Of course, I also have to be wary of where I'm which direction I'm going in on the next row. So if I'm going from right to left now, on the next row I'll be coming from left to right. So if I've got, say, like 3 stitches of the same colour on the next row, I need to know if I'm going to park it on the first stitch or the third stitch, depending on which direction I'm going in. So yeah, there's always going to be a little bit of calculating going on in your head. I think that's just par for the course. And because I'm also I'm doing a long row now because I'm trying to rectify this diagonal. Sometimes I'll just repeat the colour down here, and I'm not going to jump too far. I'll just repeat the colour again when I get further along. So I'm kind of still working in columns with regards to the parking. If that makes any sense. I know where I am there, so that's a whole bunch of orange colours there. So this last stitch here is the end of a square. That's the end of a square. So I'm going to park downwards. I'm going to continue. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that I can pick that one up. Now if this colour repeats down here, I'll pick up a different thread. I'll pick up a second thread. Actually, that is the same colour, but I have it on the next segment because I don't want to be going backwards and forwards with the same thread all the way down there to all the way down there, because it will make it really fuzzy at the back, and then it's hard to push the needle through. And trust me, that gets awkward. Talking to myself, so they say talking to yourself is a sign of madness. I don't think it is, especially not in lockdown. It's not exactly talking, is it? It's mumbling to yourself. So I'm just thinking, thank goodness that I can thread my needle quickly, because if the amount of times I've had to rethread my needle there could take me the better part of a day. Oh, this one has to be parked a bit further away. 2, 3. So I'll lift them up and have a look underneath to see where I have to park them. I always say that it's the right place, and then sometimes I come along and it's not the right place, but hey, it's usually always going to be either the hole next to it or above it or below it, something like that. When I've had to go and verify where something's parked, it's usually, if it's not in the right place, it's very close. Nice splash of dark colours in here. So basically each colour is just performing 1 or 2 stitches. Now I don't know if that's the case on the whole thing, but I'm going to find out, aren't I? Whether I like it or not. The thing is, there's no getting around a confetti. If you want to do a particular design, you're just going to have to bear with it and find the method that works for you the best. That said, if you go nice and carefully, there'll be no frogging involved. And it'll work up nicely. What I don't want to do is rush through everything, then have to come back and rip all my stitches out. I think that frogging could be a great career. I think somebody who likes frogging or ripping stitches could probably earn a good income if they were able to. Let me rip your 1,000 stitches for, I don't know, $200. Do you think that's too much? I think I'd probably want to charge more. So when I've done a nice colourful piece like this, I like to go maybe and do something with more neutral colours, pastel-y colours. Really does depend where the mood takes me. Let's do a couple more. So far so good. See how I'm at ease with this parking method. I'm not stressed, I'm not finding it awkward. When I had to be trying to figure out the diagonal, I found that was stressing me out a bit. Maybe the line just doesn't work for me. But it's not only the diagonal that I find interesting. Some people are doing, like, they just kind of veer off in a different direction. So maybe they do a diagonal, but then they decide to do go in a different way and do a bit of cross country. So I've seen charts that have a lovely straight diagonal line and then a whole section of cross country. And I find that even more fascinating because basically they're not sticking to one method, they're doing a few. So that makes me think, well, they must be comfortable with both of those styles. And how do you get to that level of comfort? Because if I was, for instance, this now looks all lovely and neat and tidy. If I veer off into a cross country, I think that would just stress me out. I come back and think, oh my God, what's happened to it? And you know, if I was going to start with cross country, I would start as I mean to go on. That's just me. But there's some people that are so fairly laid back about it. Did I park that one in the right place? Don't know if I did. No. That one. On that second one. No, that's fine. Yeah, I did. I would get fairly stressed doing different methods on the page. Although, I don't know, I could possibly do my parking rows in a different direction. That I could do. In fact, I'm kind of doing that now with my sad fairy. Instead of doing page by page, I've done it slightly differently. Gosh, for a pattern like this, it's actually quite nice when you get 3 stitches in a row. I'm not kidding. It's like, hey, 3 stitches in a row. And then it comes to an abrupt end. Oops, but look at the result. I mean, it's a lovely pattern. I think it might just be a bit too much for some people, I think. Now, parking this one is going to be a little tricky. I'm going to have a look here. Sometimes I have to count to park, or I just look at the ones that are already parked. There's a 3 down and a 2 to the left and a 1 below. Talking over here, maybe not so much over there. I don't think I'm going to have to count, so I'm going to part the waves a little bit, part the Red Sea and count. Like I said, I do not want to be parked just in a spot that I think is correct, because come later on, 1, 2, oh okay, so it's down below that yellow one there. Ah, it's more over on this side. Goodness me, I don't think I've ever had as much confetti as this in any of my charts. I kid you not. Got a feeling it's not going to get better either. So that's 1. Between there, no, that's not right. Left and down. I think it's there. Yes, I found it. How dare you hide from me? Such a deceptive way. So that's it. I think I'm going to stop there for the moment and give myself a well-deserved break from that row. So thanks for joining me once again. Enjoy your stitching and have a lovely day or lovely evening and take care.